British Championship obviously is very, very important to me, not just as a stepping stone to the next round of the World Championships, but as a title in itself. As you can see, I've won quite a few individual meetings and a little bit of silverware, but I've never actually won a national championship. When you're racing motorcycles, you tend to collect quite a few souvenirs, and they're not always silver. I've got quite a nasty scar on my left shoulder, which was from an accident in Bristol in 1977 when I crashed. And I had 250 stitches in there and fractured my arm at the top of my left arm.
The pain and the glory go hand in hand in Speedway. It's a world of skill, of technical expertise, and of courage. You need the lot when you're racing motorcycles like these. 500cc engines running on highly explosive alcohol fuel, touching speeds of 70 miles an hour, and there are no brakes. For the top riders, the rewards are good. And John Davis has invested his money far and away from the noise, the smell, and the dust of Speedway racing. This is home, a lovely cottage tucked away in the peace and quiet of Dorset village life.
Well, I've only actually lived in this house since I returned from Australia in February. And one of the things that sold the house to me, maybe it's the character, I think, probably, of this old fireplace, which is rather a beautiful old fireplace, I think. Obviously, it offers me a great sort of retreat from the pressures of Speedway, or, I mean, it maybe sounds a little bit silly, but there can be pressure. You know, for instance, after the England-America disaster at Poole, you know, I just wanted to come back here and forget about Speedway. When things go badly, then the people around me suffer, and I'm not always a nice person to be around.
Those people closest to him are his mother and father. The family business is a large mobile home park a couple of miles from John's cottage. His workshops are here, and the family ties remain very close indeed. Harry Davis has been in the front line of his son's career in Speedway right from the start. But John's mother, Audrey, provides a very different kind of inspiration. 13 years ago, an horrific car crash left her crippled, something that has made a lasting impression on John.
My mother's accident, I feel, had a lot to do with my attitude towards life, because there may not be a tomorrow, or not as you know it today. I believe that if you're going to die, you're going to die, and that's it. There's nothing you can do that's going to change it. So, I mean, if I die racing, or if I die playing golf, or driving a car, or if I just die a natural death, you know, I don't really have any say in that, you know, unless I get a gun and just pull the trigger. Anybody that says they're not afraid of being hurt is either insane, or they're the world's biggest liars. Everybody is slightly afraid of being hurt. Nobody likes pain.
The tumbles do come, but any rider will tell you that all they really think about is racing well and winning. The top men rarely make mistakes out on the track. Getting out of that starting gate and to the first bend first is what being number one is all about.
You're thinking about one thing only, and that's coming off the start before anybody else. You're not really conscious of the other three riders. The gate, or actually making the gate, coming out of the gate in front, is a lot of concentration, together with throttle control, finding the right patch of dirt. You don't want anything that's too grippy, because your bike will lift and rear, which loses you time. And then again, you don't want anything that's too hard, because you just get wheel spin. A lot of riders just look at the tapes in front of them. The wind can blow the tape. I tend to just watch the magnets on the poles, because they can't be a false reading from there. If they're going, they're going. And then it's down to reactions, throttle control, and concentration. are fairly conscious of the riders behind you. You can hear the engines, and you can sense where people are. And obviously, if your bike maybe isn't quite as quick as theirs, then you can use trackcraft, you know, just move in and block them and things like that, you know, and trying to stop them. But usually, you know, it's much better to have a quick bike and just get out in front and go.
Winning speedway races is John Davis's biggest thrill in life. He's dreamt about it ever since he was first climbing onto bikes from the age of 3. Schoolwork never stood a chance. And behind the young Davis, helping him, advising him all the way, his father Harry.
Would I be right in saying that you won't die a happy man unless you've seen your lad in the world final and doing well in the world final?
Well, I've seen him do well. He's been 5th in it at Gothenburg. But it's not good enough. You got to win, haven't you? No, you've got to win.
A hint of disappointment, perhaps, that his boy is still a step away from the very top. But here in the workshops, the challenge for the British Championship goes on. Hour upon hour of a rider's life is spent working with the tools of his trade, the bikes. Top riders like John Davis get most of their equipment provided by sponsors, which is just as well when you go through tyres at the rate of 3 or 4 sets every meeting. The search for perfection is constant. Everything has to be just right for the night. After each meeting, the bikes are stripped down to the bare chassis, and everything is checked, cleaned, adjusted. Tappets and timing, clutches, carburettor, air filter, chains, sprockets, everything is vital. One fault and points can be lost. And in a big meeting, that could spell disaster. Harry Davis has been engineering since he was 11 years old. There are young ideas from the team's mechanic, Phil Ford. And John has his own preferences and idiosyncrasies on how a bike should be set up. So they don't always see eye to eye.
I don't really think any father and son do they? Not necessarily on motorbikes, but in any walk of life, you know. I mean, father and son working together is always a pretty hard combination.
Well, what's the problem? I mean, he obviously thinks you're going to do it the right way, and you think he doesn't do it the right way. So
oh, no, I don't think my dad, I would never say that my dad doesn't do anything the right way. I mean, he's 70 years old, and I'm 26, so, you know, he's got a lot more experience than I'll probably ever have, because I don't think I'll live that long. But, especially if he has his way.
what is it he does that upsets you, Harry, with the machinery?
Well, because I know that every track is different, and I would like him to go to a track with 2 machines that are set up for 2 different tracks, and get on them and ride them, and that's it. But to keep fiddling about ordering this and everything, to my mind, is a waste of time.
You agree with that, John?
Not really, no, because, you know, I mean, from when Dad was involved in Speedway years ago, Speedway now is so different and so professional that I don't think you can just be like that. You know, I think that, you know, everybody has so much sort of special stuff and, you know, bits of this and bits of that. I mean, you know, it's just, you've got to be so competitive.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think you can just sort of have 2 engines, one for a deep track and one for a slick track and get away with it anymore. You know, I think those days are gone now. And I think you just have to keep going and experimenting and trying to find, you know, the perfect combination.
Yeah. You're a bit out of touch, Harry. Do you think that's...
No, I don't think it's right at all. I think that if you if you keep messing about, you don't know the feeling of a bike or nothing else.
Let's have a word with Phil, the mechanic. Phil, what would they like to work with these two? I mean, like a couple of old women?
No, I think you've just got to pick a bit of both. You know, you've got to go, well, you're just in the middle. You've got to just keep both of them happy. And it is hard.
Hey, this is nothing. You should see him when we're really angry.
And they get plenty of opportunity, because hours are spent driving between meetings all over the country. Tonight, it's the big one, the British Championship at Coventry. But first, a 4-hour journey. The endless travel does get tedious.
Yeah, it does sometimes, but, you know, I'm quite lucky. I've got a good stereo and the CB radio, you know, to keep in contact with, when we're travelling away from home, the pool team, we always talk to each other on the CB radios, and we can tell each other if there's any traffic hold-ups or if the police are about anyway.
How much conversation is there? I mean, is there a good atmosphere inside here or not?
Well, it's like tonight, you know, if everything goes okay, then it'll be very cheerful, but, you know, if we don't have a very good night, then things will be pretty grim.
When you think about the endless miles of travelling you do and the extraordinary amount of riding and practice, do you sometimes wonder if it's all worth it?
Not at all, really. I love my work, you know, and I wouldn't do anything else. It's like yourself, if you didn't enjoy what you're doing, you wouldn't do it. You know, it's just a job satisfaction. Not many people really can honestly say they get job satisfaction or earn money doing, you know, what they want to do.
So not even in the early hours of the morning when things have gone badly and it's a long journey home do you get fed up?
No, I try and go to sleep even when I'm driving.
Coventry, and the British Championship is less than an hour away. The crowds are gathering in their thousands. The feeling of anticipation begins to build. The preparation is done, the bikes are ready, now it's up to the riders. 16 are here to contest not only the British title, but also 8 vital qualifying places for the next round of the World Championship.
John, how are you feeling now?
Nervous? Under pressure. Under pressure, yeah. No, I think everyone's probably feeling the same right now. You know, just a little bit keyed up and just getting ready for the start. Probably all as ready as we'll ever be, aren't we, boys?
Usually nobody's talking here.
They may be laughing, but it's tinged with apprehension. They all know that 8 of them will go on to the next round at White City. 8 will be eliminated from this year's World Crown. Davis gets ready. On goes the protector to guard his spine. On go the riding leathers. But mentally, the preparation began hours ago. The racing starts, and it's an anxious wait for John Davis. He must sit it out until Heat 4. A time for nerves, but time too to cast a professional eye on the racing. The tiniest hint about track conditions may prove invaluable. Davis wears 13, and oddly for a man who's highly superstitious, he's quite pleased. He says it'll help him to do well.
John, you've seen the first heat. What are your impressions of the state of the track, etc.?
There's a bit of dirt on it, but it doesn't look too bad. It's not been too badly watered. I don't know, I'll tell you later.
This must be agonising, mustn't it?
Yeah.
Just waiting to get on there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it get better after the first ride?
Oh, once you go on your bike, you know, it's just another meeting, but, you know, it's just the build-up to it all.
And what are you thinking about at this moment?
Just watching the start, seeing how consistent the referee is.
Okay. I'll leave you alone.
If you would.
Heat 4, and the waiting at last is over. Davis must turn hope into reality. There's one last word from Terry Chandler from Poole, then John Davis is on his own. He's drawn in the outside lane.
And the yellow flag from Poole. The 80th place in tonight's meeting after a run-off in the Birmingham semi-final is John Davis. John Davis, yellow and black, line up for Heat 4.
It is Carter who gets away. Davis is trying to come round the outside, so is Morton. Wiggs in second place, and it's getting a bit tight on the back there. Morton will try the outside run. That's his favourite attack. He's round the outside. Carter leads. Morton is second. Third is Wigg, and Davis is at the back. So here's the battle up front with Kenny Carter. A beautifully polished start, but he's got Chris Morton right on his tail. That's a super action picture. Carter in blue, Morton in white. They say that it's difficult to come from the back in Brandon, but Morton will certainly not stop trying. He'll try the outside. Here he comes around the outside, and has he got by? Yes, he has. And Carter attacks him back on the inside. Aggressive stuff from the little Yorkshireman, and over the line it is just Chris Morton. Fabulous Speedway. He wins it. Carter was second, Wigg was third.
And John Davis is last. No points and a disastrous start to the night. To have any hope at all of lifting that title now, he must win his next 4 races. And there's precious little time to get things right, because he's out again in the very next heat. The decision? A change to his second machine, an overhead cam engine for greater starting power. Davis is wearing the red helmet in the inside lane. Disaster strikes again, left at the gate, and there's no way he can score points from that position. His British title hopes are shattered. The night turns into a battle to salvage a qualifying place for the World Championship. And now, in the pits, the smiles have gone.
It ain't that. You bloody well.
What gear is he on? What gear are you on? I'm on 9. 1756. 9.
It seems over gear, like under gear, you know, it's just revving.
What are you putting on now?
Look, it's just going to change the edges. Put another edge on.
You know, you're only interested in one thing, that's getting out of the start, JD. You know, you
You've got to have enough speed when you got
don't matter about that. You can mess anyone up when you get out there. The thing is, you've got to make those starts.
What's the problem mechanically? Is there one?
No, it's not riding.
sorting out the gear.
Not riding.
He's not riding? Well, what's up, do you think?
Well, it's just one of those things, that's what happens. But he's not getting out of the bloody gate.
Do you think he can still qualify?
Could do, he's got to go some, isn't he?
For Heat 12, they try a higher gear, looking for more power down the straights.
This is a vital one for him, isn't it?
Yeah. If he don't go this time, he's at it.
I suppose the second would be all right for him, wouldn't it?
Not really, no. Definitely. To have 3 wins are no good.
So Davis on the inside, then Les Collins. Grid 3, Jessup on the outside. Andy Graham, here we go, Heat 12. And this time, it is Graham who gets away. That was a very ragged start. Davis is second. It's been all right, Harry. Line second.
No, that's no good. No good at all.
Graham didn't look to have made the start. He's lost it again, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just not concentrating.
Collins is certainly making a little bit of ground on Graham. But this slender young man from Birmingham doesn't make any mistakes and goes very, very quickly.
He'll be bloody last. He'll be last, you see.
Just going out of our picture, till John Davis in 3rd place. This is the leaders. So it's going to be Andy Graham, still unbeaten. 2nd place, Les Collins. 3rd, Davis and Dave Jessup. There's a surprise. Is that it then, do you reckon?
Yep, I don't think he can do any good now.
Yeah. Well, what happens now, he's going to be in a terrible frame of mind, isn't he?
Well, you are. Got to get out of it, isn't he?
Well, I mean, what do you do now? Do you give him a rollicking, or do you just say hard luck, or what do you do?
Well, you don't know what to say, do you, or do? Of course you don't.
What is the problem? Is it the machine, or is it John Davis?
Just me.
What happened?
Second time I just reared badly at the start.
With only 1 point, Davis is facing failure and elimination. They're knowing again the taste of disappointment and washed-up dreams. But then, when it's least expected, comes success. Davis gets it right at the 4th attempt, and he wins heat 14.
With John Davis in front. And Michael Lee begins to gain ground on him. Lee is the one who really will look for points here because he only has 5 points, and they're all getting precious food now if he wishes to claim one of those qualification places. Only 8 going, and he won't relish being beaten by John Davis, who's out of contention. 3 points for Davis, 2 for Lee, 1 for Malcolm Holloway. And there is John Davis, who has picked up his performance, is beginning to show his true touch and flair. Could well have come far too late in the day for him.
But all is not lost, because those 3 points, plus a couple of failures by key rivals, suddenly, dramatically, throw Davis a lifeline. Victory in his last race might just squeeze him into a run-off for the 8th and last qualifying place. But it's victory or nothing. For champion Andy Graham, celebration. For Davis, concentration. The man who loves to finish first must win for sure now. All live with the knowledge that he's just another also-ran for 1 more year.
Here we go for heat 19. And it is Davis who goes clear. Second place is Collins, third is Ferreira. And Collins forces his way down the inside of John Davis. And Ferreira follows him through the gap as well. So Phil Collins kicking on now. While big brother Peter is made short of his qualification place. Phil, unless something unforeseen happens mechanically, is going to go forward as well. And there's still a chance for Les Collins. So it really has been the British final with a firm family flavour about it, with the 2 Graham brothers dominating and the Collins boys in the thick of the action as well. Second place now is Mike Ferreira, third is Davis. Disappointing night for the cool pin-up boy, but not disappointing at all for Phil Collins. He goes over the line and he's on his way to White City. Second was Ferreira, third Davis.
Johnny, you all right?
Yeah.
When you had a chance in the end, didn't you? At the end of the day, what do you think the problem was?
And there is one very happy young man.
You're obviously...
What can you say?
Yeah, we just choked, aren't you?
Yeah, no more.
Yeah.
He's shy, he's unassuming. He really isn't the overall image of a daredevil speedster. Andy Graham